Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking about not the week that was. That's coming a little later. Instead, I am giving you my review for WWE's Saturday Night's Main Event. I think it's the fourth one they've done since they got rebooted. It is a TV special, so it's not a pay-per-view per se. Still pretty entertaining for what it was. And I am going to go through it right now. As we start off with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, aka the Paul Heyman family. I'm going to call them that until they finally get a name, because they do need a name. As they take on the team of Sami Zayn and CM Punk. And oh boy, the pop Punk got. I couldn't even hear the music half the time, which, honestly, that means you're pretty much in. So, before the match goes, you have Sami and Punk on the apron. Braun and Seth are kind of goading them in, like, come on. Seth and Sami and Punk then get in the ring and they just brawl for a bit before the bell goes. Eventually Punk gets Seth back in the ring where Sami and Seth started off, and they're throwing haymakers at one another. Like, this isn't just like, we're going to start the match, lock up. No, this feels like a blood feud, and they did right there. Seth on the apron got a few cheap shots on the opposition. A couple of times Seth blocked the GTS, which that was impressive. A couple of times Sami went for the Helluva Kick. First, Seth grabs him by the leg. Punk takes him out with a dive. Sami with an exploder suplex in the corner. Goes for the Helluva Kick again. This time Paul Heyman grabs Sami's leg. Then you see on the opposite end of the arena. Not even the arena, but he comes through the crowd. It's Bronson Reed. And I could tell right away who it was, because he's a very large man. You can't really miss him. He slips out of the crowd for a very massive pop. That was impressive. He then runs right at Punk, who's right up against the guardrail. Crossbody, not just through Punk, but through the guardrail. So this distracts Sami for a bit. He eats a spear from Braun Breaker. And that's the match finish. The winner's the Paul Heyman family. So then Reed, he's on the outside. He gets in the ring. Has a little stare down with Braun Breaker, which I thought, this is going to be explosive. Seth then puts his arm on Braun's shoulder as like a step down. And then Seth goes in, hugs the big man as best he could. Bronson Reed reciprocates, and they all celebrate in the ring. So your new member of the Paul Heyman family is Bronson Reed. So at that, Punk tries to get at Paul Heyman. Bronson Reed with a big old senton to him, which that looked rough. And then he goes up, hits probably one of my favorite new finishers of all time, the Tsunami. Which, I know it's pretty much just a big splash, but Bronson Reed does it so well. So, that first match, it did kind of feel a little rushed, but big return. I did not see Bronson Reed coming back. Yes, he does have some history with Seth Rollins in that he hit 6 tsunamis on the poor bastard. But I'm sure we will get a storyline reason why. He's in the Heyman family. So next up, we're in Gorilla, where we have a Chelsea Green with her Secret Service interview. saying, I have risen from the ashes. Now is the night. The votes are in, and I'll return to my second term as the longest reigning first ever Women's United States Champion. So this was a late edition. I assume it was made on SmackDown. I did not catch SmackDown because I was watching the Knicks. But then we get this next matchup for the Women's United States title. We got Chelsea Green taking on Zelina Vega. And at first, it was, normal-ish match. Real decent back and forth. I wouldn't say perfect, but it was decent. One point, we see Green attempt the unpretty her. Vega blocks it into a backstabber, in which Green then falls into the ropes. And this is kind of where it goes wrong, because I guess Vega calculates, hits a 619 right to Chelsea Green's nose. And at that, you see Chelsea Green start bleeding buckets. Like, that was definitely a scary moment. At that point, the Secret Service distracts the ref, but Vega fights them off. Vega with a big headbutt, then hits a code red off the top rope to pick up the win. I don't think this was a cut for time moment. I think with the injury, this had to be cut a little bit, which I understand, I get. Hopefully Chelsea Green isn't super hurt and she gets back soon. And then we see the legends in the arena. First is Jimmy Hart. We got Bushwhacker Luke. Love me some of the Bushwhackers. And then we got announced our first match for Worlds Collide, which is in July, I want to say. Maybe like mid-June. As we have El Hijo del Vikingo, who, if you've never seen him wrestle before, you're in for a treat, as it's up against Chad Gable. I was kind of hoping it was with El Grande Americano, but Gable makes sense. So next up, we see the next Saturday night's main event announced for July in Atlanta, along with, I guess that's the following Sunday, we get a pretty massive announcement as we have Evolution 2 announced for July. So if you don't know Evolution, it was the all-women's pay-per-view that WWE put on, because at the time, women's athletes weren't really allowed in Saudi Arabia. So that was the first Saudi show. If you look back at the card, there were no women on that card. So, they put on this as a makeup. But they haven't had it for at least, when was that? That was 2015. So it has been a while. So good on WWE for bringing this back finally. But what the heck took you so long? So next up, non-title action in which, okay, interesting. We have WWE Champion John Cena taking on his biggest fan, R-Truth. And John Cena comes out first, which I always found to be weird, but it's non-title. I guess it's not that weird. John Cena cuts his music, goes through the long announcement like Shane McMahon, best in the world era. And then Cena's music hits again. Then you see R-Truth coming out. He's decked out in Cena gear, although it's his face on the t-shirt. It's R-Truth's face on the t-shirt, which is hilarious. And he's pulling all the John Cena, the face John Cena moves, the thing in the ring. It's all funny, and it's odd. So, Truth pretty much sprints into the ring. He's getting the crowd hyped up. Cena with a big clothesline right at the bell and just starts beating the heck out of him. So much so, the ref has to pull Cena off Truth. Truth fights back a little bit, but Cena slowly hitting his 5 moves of doom. So, one shoulder tackle, beat, another shoulder tackle, his side slam, suplex, whatever you want to call that move. Hits the 5-knuckle shuffle. Gets him up for the AA. Truth counters it. Hits the high-speed shoulder tackle as we see from classic Cena. Then his suplex, brainbuster move. 5-knuckle shuffle. Hits the AA. Only gets a 2 count. Locks in the STF. But Cena makes it to the ropes. Cena then rolls to the outside. Truth follows him. Cena then grabs Truth, chucks him right into the ring post, rolls Truth back in, but before he gets in himself, he goes and grabs the WWE title, brings it into the ring. Looks like he's about to hit it. Ref is like, no, don't do it, don't do it. He goes to do it, he stops. And he looks around. You hear the Let's Go Cena chants. He then hands the belt to the referee. Referee goes to throw the title outside. I guess Truth goes in for a handshake. Low blow. Attitude adjustment. 1, 2, 3. So then Cena's celebrating. He then cuts the music off. Picks up the WWE title again, hits Truth with it, and then leaves. This was pretty much everything I wanted this match to be. It definitely felt more angle than match, which is, fine. I will say that moment when Cena doesn't quite hit Truth with the WWE title, maybe that's Cena thinking, oh, what have I done? What am I going to do? Are we going to see a face turn sometime soon? Or is this just a moment to swerve everybody? I guess we'll see in the coming days. We then get a pretty dang good hype video for Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest, which is taking place inside a cage, which I'm going to say this. Something gets to me. Anyway, next we see World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso. He's walking around in the back, and he runs into WWE Champion John Cena, who says, it's been a while. Then Jey says, well, last time I saw you, I threw you out of the Royal Rumble. Cena, then with a little smirk on his face, says, I'm looking forward to the next time I see you. And there is prestige in losing to Logan Paul. I don't really get that one, but whatever. When I inevitably win and run out the clock on my retirement, I'm taking this title home, and your world title is going to be around the waist of a YouTuber. That's a lot of pressure on you. I'll be keeping an eye on your match. And then the dread just came over my face. Is Cena about to cost Jey Uso? In which I wouldn't hate it. Not saying I think Logan Paul should hold the world title. But if you really want to get Jey Uso more over, maybe doing something like that would add something to this story. I don't know. Then we got a couple more legends in the crowd. We got Lalani Kai, who competed at the first WrestleMania, which is absolutely insane. And then we got Tatanka. If you remember him, he had a pretty solid undefeated streak in the 80s for a while. Then we have man who's kind of hosting proceedings, I guess, Jesse the Body Ventura. He joins commentary for our next match, set inside of a steel cage. Now, here's what annoys me about WWE steel cage matches. You can win numerous ways. Pinfall? Good. Submission? Good. Escape? Over the top, which, not my favorite thing, but at least there's some tension to it. Or walking out the door. No, that should not be an option. The cage is supposed to keep you in, and it should be a struggle. You're not supposed to be like, okay, ref, you can do this now. They open the door for you, and you step out. I hate that stipulation so damn much. It is... Like, you hear Jesse Ventura complain about the finish. Minor spoiler. Of you know, Priest walking out the door. I'm with Jesse. This shouldn't be a thing. Also, another thing that kind of weirded me out. You got this throwback show. And you didn't think, oh, let's at least paint this steel cage blue, like they did, like they had the blue cage back in the day. At least do that. You don't have to bring back the old cage. Just repaint this. I don't know. It's a missed opportunity and a stupid stipulation. So if you didn't get, we got Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. Drew then he's in the ring. Priest is busy getting some steel chairs. Drew then jumps Priest before the bell. They brawl ringside for a little bit. Drew then throws Damian Priest in the ring. Priest grabs a couple more steel chairs, tosses them in the ring. Bell rings, and we are off to the races. I am surprised the chairs weren't used right at the beginning, but I appreciate the build to it. So these two are just pretty much kicking the crap out of each other for a while, throwing each other into the cage, hitting super kicks. They even use each other's finishers, like Drew uses the South of Heaven, Priest with a Claymore. And near the end, we do have some chair action with Drew grabbing chairs and hitting some chair shots. He then sets up another chair in the corner, sets Priest's head against the chair in the corner, goes for the Claymore. Priest moves. So he hits the chair with his foot, which that doesn't sound fun at all. Drew with Priest with some chair shots, then uses the edge of the chair to bounce against the ring against Drew's throat. Then Priest grabs one chair, sets it in the ring, puts Drew on top of it, gets the other chair from the corner. Concerto, a la Edge from back in the day. Although he still kind of does it. Then instead of pinning him, instead of going over the cage wall, he goes over to the door, points to the referee. Referee opens the door, takes 2 steps out, looks back over his shoulder, takes the last step. Your winner, Damian Priest. I had a feeling Priest was going to do this, was going to win this match. I wish there was a little bit more drama to it. Like over the cage, top rope, pinfall, something. And then, of course, you hear Jesse Ventura complaining about it like I am right now. And he's absolutely right. So then we see in the ring, we see the ref calling for the medical team. Medical team comes out, Priest leaves. Then we see a stretcher roll up. Drew is then sitting up, but he's shaking. He's either angry or he's seriously hurt. And instead of going out on the stretcher, Drew walks up the ramp on his own power. So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure if we're getting a rematch of this match. But good lord, that was a whole lot of fun. That was an awesome matchup. I just wish the finish was either going up and over the top of the cage or a pinfall. Something a little bit more satisfying than walking out the cage door. Anyway, so our last couple legends we see in the crowd. We see the tag team of the U.S. Express, which that's a very old school tag team. While I didn't watch them in my youth, even though I'm really old, I do have respect for these two guys. They were a really underrated tag team. And we got a hype video for Jey Uso versus Logan Paul, including the super kicks and KO punches they traded over the last couple weeks, which I'll admit this was a pretty good build-up. So then we get our main event of main event, and it's for the World Heavyweight title. We got main event Jey Uso taking on Logan Paul. And I don't know if I complained to NBC about this. I don't know if I complained to WWE about this. You do not cut off the entrance of your most loved talent and just cut to commercial right at the start of it. Like, you see Jey Uso, he's yeeting with a little kid. You see the crowd going nuts. We don't even see him enter the ring before we hit a commercial. And I'm going to talk about that issue in a little bit. But first, we get a lock-up fake-out, which I'm always a fan of. Little heel moment to get inside the babyface's head. Eventually, they do lock up. They hit each other with some pretty good stuff. Logan Paul really enjoys the blockbuster, which I'll admit, I'll give him props for that. Oh. Jey Uso then fights back, hits a big old hip attack for a 2 count. Goes for the Uso splash, but Logan gets his knees up. Logan then with a rolling senton goes for a moonsault, but Jey gets his knees up. Logan goes for the KO punch. Jey ducks down, hits a pop-up Samoan drop for a 2 count. Then we see Jey Uso trying to suplex Logan while he's hanging onto the turnbuckle pad. Pulls it off. Jey with a clothesline over the top. Goes for a big dive. Logan hits him out of midair, which is crazy looking. Gets Jey back in the ring. Goes for a buckshot lariat. Jey immediately counters it with a super kick for a 2. Jey goes for a spear. That gets blocked. Logan then takes Jey, tosses him into the exposed turnbuckle, hits a big old KO punch, but only gets a 2 count, which I thought that would have been the finish, but it's whatever. Jey fights back with a super kick, hits an Uso splash, and as the ref is counting to 3, someone pulls him out of the ring. It's John Cena. So Cena then gets in the ring. He starts beating down Jey Uso. Looks like he's about to hit him with an AA. Then out comes Cody Rhodes, making his long-awaited return. Gets in the ring, hits an uppercut on Logan, It's a crossroads on Cena. Gets Cena out of the ring. Logan Paul then gets a pair of brass knuckles, which I guess one of his team members snuck out and gave it to him. Logan Paul goes for the KO punch, misses. Jay with a spear and an Uso splash to pick up the win. So we have Logan and Cena on the outside. Then we have Cody and Jay on the inside. Jay is just getting up. Cody grabs the microphone, says, "Enough is enough. I'm sorry, but your Cena retirement tour runs through Rhodes country. You obviously got your partner in Logan Paul. I've got the World Heavyweight Champion in my corner. We'll see you at Money in the Bank." So, nice little setup for the next pay-per-view. I was kind of surprised because the talk going on online was that we were gonna see Travis Scott, which I know he's been training, but I don't know. I appreciate this a little bit more. So overall, show was really, really good. A lot of good wrestling. My main issue, besides the steel cage match thing, there were so many ads. Like, I get it. This is more of a TV special over a pay-per-view. But good lord, we did not need this many ads. It's like a little bit, like 2 minutes of action, 5 minutes of ads. 2 more minutes of action, 6 minutes of ads. And look, I obviously watched this on Sunday, where I didn't actually see the ads. But good lord, I saw the stoppages, and my god, this was annoying. Like, I'm gonna say this, WWE, next time you do one of these, maybe don't put it on NBC. Maybe keep it on Peacock as like a Peacock exclusive special, and maybe you'll get a few more eyes on. I don't know. That's just me. So, yeah, that's Saturday night's main event. Overall enjoyable. Just some annoying bits. And let me know what you thought of Saturday night's main event down below. I hope you enjoy your Veterans Day if you do celebrate. I don't really know if you celebrate Veterans Day. Memorial Day. My mistake. So, I hope you try to enjoy the holiday. Honor a fallen veteran today. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.